right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
This is the worst I've ever seen it.
Caught in a hailstorm. Tonight, some communities cleaning up after our latest round of severe weather. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Our weather impact alert is over as the storms have now moved out of our area. Depending on where you live, they packed hail, strong winds, and downpours. So let's get straight over to meteorologist Gary Frank on what we can expect overnight and for our next weather impact alert day already issued for later this week.
I know, that time of the year, as we've had a very busy March, we're going to start off April very busy as well. And one of the final days of March, you see that line of storms that took a while to get going, especially on the Missouri side. You didn't quite have that issue, but as that line of storms continue to push off to the south and east in a more favorable environment, we had some of that larger hail and even some big tornadoes well to the south. They'll be talking about that for days. But in Caledonia, tests share this with golf ball sized hail. We also had a few spots with just multiple areas of hail that accumulated from Bonne Terre. This was a Debbie, and then also in St. Francis County off of Highway 47, Bill shared this. We had some pretty large hail outside. That was the main threat, as Annie will talk about here shortly. But temperatures in the mid 40s off to our northwest, around 60 degrees still, and we're still looking at that cold air that continues to filter in over the next several hours. We're still going to fall for tomorrow morning in the upper 30s and low 40s, which is almost a shock to the system considering we were in the 60s and 70s today to start off our day. It's going to be much, much colder to start off with a cool breeze. I am looking ahead over the next few days. Of course, the temperature's falling overnight. We have a quiet start to the week. I don't have any issues Monday or for the most part on Tuesday, but we do have a better chance for significant severe weather on Wednesday. And the comparison to today is the fact that we're going to see more of a widespread look at it and not just a whittled down from northwest to southeast. We'll talk about why that is and what we're expecting as we get closer to our next weather impact alert day on Wednesday.
And some of the worst damage reported was in St. Clair and Washington counties over in Illinois. 5 on Your Side's Andy Krall was in those communities tonight, which were hit with hail and high winds. Andy?
Mike, while the home and car damage from hail today was minimal, neighbors about 50 minutes southeast of St. Louis said it was some of the most nerve-wracking Sunday driving they've seen in a decade.
Never seen nothing like this.
After initial reports of ping-pong-sized hail in St. Clair County, Darmstadt was a blanket of pebble-sized hail on most Polk Street lawns, including Chase Merlenbach's.
Everything was white. Everything, like the roads, and it was, believe it or not, it was actually kind of slick. I mean, I'm obviously, hail's ice, but yeah, it was weird, and I'd never seen anything like it before.
He's lived in the county for about 10 years, explaining that when he was driving home with his girlfriend Sunday afternoon, he couldn't go more than 40 miles per hour anywhere.
All the roads were white, and then the yards, the fields, everything, it was all white from all the hail that we got.
Near this North Main and West 2nd New Minden intersection by the Blue Room Bar were quarter-size holes in a house from hail, but that wasn't all.
New Minden got hit, there's a tree down that landed on the house, and they are without power.
Director of Washington County's Emergency Management Agency and Homeland Security, Matthew Bierman, emphasized the damage in Addyville, where the area's rotation was noticed first.
Fire chief there, his house and the fence around his pool looks like somebody shot a shotgun at it. It's just full of big, big holes.
A massive barn just east of Nashville, Illinois was blown apart by high winds and a grain auger was flipped upside down. Yet overall, Bierman said Sunday's damage was better than expected.
We went into the day knowing that we were at a 3 out of 5 for potential, and that's always a concern.
When it comes to big storms again on Wednesday, Bierman said the major factor he's worried about is timing. At least if it hits during the daytime, he can get his spotters out in Washington County to take pictures and document any damage for the National Weather Service. Mike?
Hail was also a problem on the Missouri side of the river. A viewer sent us images of the large hail that pelted homes, buildings, and cars in St. Francis County. Some of those stones look as big as ping pong balls. No word yet on the extent of the damage there. The hail not as large in St. Charles County, but the pea-sized stones came down fast and hard. These videos are from O'Fallon and Cottleville. And we do appreciate you sharing your weather videos and pictures, but please remember to stay safe when doing so. You can text them to 314-425-5355. Rain and lightning caused fans at Busch Stadium and Energizer Park to take cover this afternoon. Both the Cardinals game and the City SC match were under a rain delay for about 45 minutes. Busch Stadium was the first ballpark in Major League Baseball to be certified as a storm-ready facility by the National Weather Service. And tonight, 5 on Your Side's Holden Kerwicki shows us the game plan for fan safety at the city's newest sports venue.
As City SC prepared for a Sunday afternoon matinee against Austin FC, many fans kept one eye on the sky.
What are you concerned about later on?
Hail. The sun came out though, it looks nice out. We're excited. Hopefully it stays away.
While fans like Amy and Paige Anderson are ready for rain.
Put our ponchos on and stick it out.
In the event of severe weather, City SC officials developed a plan to have fans shelter in place inside Energizer Park, which is a certified storm-ready facility, by using security to usher fans from the upper concourse and City View levels into the nearest shelter and closing the gates.
We were at a game and we had to go in the bathroom for the storm shelter.
What was that like?
It was pretty crowded.
While club officials have plans to keep fans inside the stadium safe, I asked fans outside the stadium what they would do if a storm blew in during the game. Head to the car.
Just come inside, go in any building, and stay safe.
Once the all clear is announced over the PA, it's up to Energizer Park and MLS officials to set a new kickoff time. But Luligans like Sarah Robertson have a suggestion they believe would improve safety and the fan experience.
The probability of people going to their car and then coming back is not great. So I think calling it earlier would be helpful.
Reporting at Energizer Park, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on Your Side.
Both City SC and the Cardinals use site-specific meteorologists to track severe storms in our area. Shelter-in-place warnings will only be issued if wind speeds reach over 60 miles per hour or if lightning is detected within 8 miles of the stadium. Stay on top of our next Weather Impact Alert Day on our 5+ streaming app. Our team of meteorologists will offer in-depth forecasts leading up to Wednesday's storms. And you can watch for free just by downloading the app on your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV. And you can always get the latest weather impact forecast right to your phone. You can also join our text list to receive constant updates. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355. Tonight, an Overland police officer and a man he was trying to arrest are recovering after a traffic stop led to gunfire. It happened around 7:45 this morning outside a gas station at Page and Warson. The Overland police chief tells 5 on Your Side the officer's gun discharged during a struggle with the driver. We're told both were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. St. Louis County Police have taken over the investigation. And tonight, St. Louis County Police are also investigating a shooting involving a county park ranger. This happened at James S. McDonald Park off Lindbergh and Midland around 8:15 last night. Investigators say the ranger's car was hit by one of 2 suspicious vehicles he was checking out. He then fired a shot at that car. The rangers suffered minor injuries. A person of interest was later taken into custody. They were not hit by the gunfire. With just 9 days to go until St. Louis voters head to the polls, a new poll out this weekend shows a growing uphill battle for Mayor Tashara Jones' re-election bid. The Missouri Scout poll shows her challenger, Alderwoman Kara Spencer, with about 55% support. That's 24 points more than Jones. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, asked the mayor about the new poll at an event yesterday.
How do you turn that around in 9 days?
Well, we're focusing on turnout. We got to increase turnout. We got to let people know what's at stake in this race. And we've got a ton of community partners working to do that. And we'll see what happens on election night.
You'll remember in 2021, Jones got 51% of the vote to beat Spencer, who got 47%. This week, voters in the Metro East will head to the polls for the 2025 consolidated elections. On the ballot, mayoral and board races, along with tax levy propositions and school bond proposals. The polls will be open Tuesday from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. No voter ID is required in Illinois, but you may have to provide one showing your current address if an election judge has questions about your registration. We have put together a complete voter's guide for the April 1st election in Illinois and the April 8th Missouri municipal elections. That's on KSDK.com, and you can text the word guide to 314-425-5355, and we'll send a link straight to your phone.
A beloved PE teacher fighting a rare disease.
They pretty much explained that this is something that I'm going to have for the rest of my life.
The surprise lift for the biggest champion of Lift for Life Academy.
It was one of the best feelings, the best days I could ever experience.
As we're pretty familiar with all the severe weather risks and outlooks by now, we have another one just after we get rid of this one by Wednesday. We'll talk about the timing and impacts that'll be felt on our next Weather Impact Alert Day.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
A local teacher who spent years flexing his fundraising muscles for others suddenly found himself in need of some heavy support. Tonight in my Making a Difference report, a man who's always believed in giving gets a lesson in receiving that he never saw coming. In St. Louis's Soulard neighborhood, an old bank has made quite the investment. Not in dollars and cents, but in children's futures. This is Lift for Life Academy, where the philosophy isn't just a name, it's a daily mission.
Lift for Life is just such a special place, and it all boils down to the people, like our community, our kids, our staff, administration.
All right, here we go. Jog it down. Don't hit my cones. Go.
For PE teacher Tim Bosler, lifting others comes naturally.
Sit.
Both in the weight room and beyond.
I can really say he builds connections with all his kids. He makes sure you're okay. And like, I've never once heard him raise his voice at anyone, complain, anything.
For 8 years during Soulard Mardi Gras, Tim has spent his free time running a food tent outside Chavez Restaurant, raising thousands each year for the school's athletic programs.
I would say every year it's anywhere from about that $3,000 to $6,000 range.
But last year, as Tim turned 40,
yes!
The man who had always been a pillar of strength found himself suddenly unsteady.
I had some sores on my feet, but they were starting to feel like numb and kind of throbbing.
After a year of uncertainty came devastating news. He had Waldenstrom's, a rare form of lymphoma, a cancer that starts in the lymphatic system.
They pretty much explained that this is something that I'm going to have for the rest of my life.
You know where you were looking when you swam?
For a man who conquered 7 Ironman competitions,
there you go, second.
This became the race he never trained for. But even as his body betrayed him, his spirit never wavered.
Oh, no!
He gets up, one of the first ones here. He gets going. He's always energetic with our kids and has a positive attitude with our kids.
This year, as Tim once again manned his post at Chavez for Mardi Gras, he noticed something unusual.
There were so many people that showed up to Mardi Gras that I'm like, oh, why are they here?
The faces in the crowd held a secret, one that would soon be revealed in the very gym where Tim had given so much of himself.
For you?
In a moment that left no dry eyes, Tim learned that for once he wasn't the giver, he was the receiver. This year's fundraiser wasn't for new equipment or team jerseys, it was for him.
I remember looking back and seeing my family, and then I immediately, obviously I got emotional with it, but it was one of the best feelings, the best days I could ever experience.
The funds will help Tim explore treatments beyond traditional chemotherapy, a lifeline for a father whose 3 young children need him more than any class ever could.
It was really cool to see, and I hope he felt how loved and supported that he truly is.
Yes, congratulations, girls.
And Tim's response, as predictable as his early morning arrival to school.
I hope that I get to give somebody the experience that I had that's going through something like this.
In the weight room of life, Tim Bosler discovered the most profound truth about strength.
Get in there, get in there, get in there. There we go.
It's not measured in pounds lifted, but in the countless hands that reach back when you finally need to grab hold. If you'd like to support Tim's journey, you can visit this story on our website, KSDK.com. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. Historic figures buried here in St. Louis. Today, the sons of Union veterans of the Civil War gathered at Calvary Cemetery to commemorate General William Tecumseh Sherman, along with Dred and Harriet Scott. Sherman was recognized for his actions during the Civil War that helped preserve the Union. The Scotts' great-great-granddaughter was also on hand to honor the couple who began their fight for freedom from enslavement at the old courthouse. All right, meteorologist Gary Frank rejoined us now at that weather impact forecast, and now the focus turns to Wednesday, right?
Right, yeah, normally we'd be recapping what's going on, talk about how it's quiet the next few days, but not when we finish the month like this and start off April more significant. And we'll still recap a little bit about what's occurred just so we can get you out the door tomorrow, because you'll see one of the reasons that we started off with that rain early. You know, you start off with that rain that kind of hung around through 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and we're on the warm side, but we had that rain that kind of lingered, and that really killed it on the Missouri side. You had temps in the 40s here, but watch where that front raced across. And the quicker that it got across Missouri, that really mitigated the severe threat, pushed it on the Illinois side, and that's why we had some of that larger hail. And of course, now we have all cleared out. Your severe weather threat is over tonight. Of course, temps are falling behind it with that cold front in the upper 30s and low 40s. A bit of a cool breeze to start off our day tomorrow as we see that northwest wind continue at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. We're headed for the low 50s. So a litlittle bit of sunshine, but it's going to be marked a lot different. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a lot different tomorrow versus what we've had the last few mornings, where you're starting off in the 60s. Not so much. We once again turn to the Pacific Northwest for one of these systems that churns and spins, and this is a low that is starting to take more shape, and it's going to gain strength as it works its way inland and eventually over the Rockies, as they so often do. And I want to point out what this is going to look like by Wednesday here as this fast forwarded on me. You'll notice this here, this high here. We're in between these two areas where we have significant wind, not only in between, and that's going to be the driving force behind our significant wind field as well. We also have that high that's off to our southeast. That's going to continue to drive in humidity. Those are two key components for our severe weather development. And then the third thing is the fact that with not only this, but the fact that we have all those things starting to come together, the Storm Prediction Center has increased this 30% risk area on, for Wednesday. That includes all of our area. There's another widespread severe weather outbreak, and a lot of it is similar to what we just had, right? But what are the differences here? And as we start to look at our severe weather forecasting, we see if it's trending up or down. We see pattern recognition. We can figure that out like I just showed you. But, the last couple of days we've had the forecast details with the specifics and timing and things like that. And that's what we're working on right now. But in terms of more severe ingredients, this is not as conditional as the one that we had today was. I think this is a bit more of a widespread severe threat. However, we're starting to see a few of these, at least more high resolution models to give us an idea of what this may look like. And I think the timing of this right now is Wednesday afternoon. I don't want you to get caught up in what this may look like specifically, but we'll see whether or not we have clouds early. And I've done a better explainer than this on 5+, where you talk about the storm today and have more of an explainer on Wednesday. I only get about 3 minutes here. I went in depth, so you can check that out at your leisure and on KSDK.com. But for now, it is going to be a quiet start to the week. Our next weather impact alert on Wednesday, with I think is more of the significant severe weather threat, much more so than we had today. I'll do the comparisons to a couple of weeks ago on 5+. Otherwise, it's rainy to finish the rest of the week.
I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy on Today in St. Louis, and we are on the move, taking a look at a whole lot of work on the Boone Bridge that links St. Louis and St. Charles counties. Crews with MoDOT began rehab work on the westbound Interstate 64 Boone Bridge. They're closing up to 3 lanes nightly on westbound I-64 from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. On eastbound I-64, up to 3 lanes closed nightly from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Later this week, crews will also be splitting traffic into the median in both directions so work can be done. MoDOT will maintain 2 lanes on each direction of I-64, but 2 of the westbound lanes will be temporarily shifted to the eastbound bridge. They'll set up a barrier wall to separate both directions of traffic. Take notice, lanes are going to be a bit smaller, more narrow, and the speed limit will be reduced. Drivers looking for an alternate route can use the Route 364 Veterans Memorial Bridge to cross between St. Louis and St. Charles counties. This is a big project, and it's going to take all summer, so plan ahead. Stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
A bride-to-be left with serious injuries just weeks before her wedding. The stranger arrested for a bachelorette weekend attack. New information tonight about a deadly crash involving a dump truck slamming into a home in Owensville, Missouri. The homeowner, 84-year-old Donald Fuchs, was killed in the crash back in January. His wife was injured. A new crash report shows the 70-year-old driver of the dump truck suffered a medical episode. He told investigators he blacked out and didn't know what happened. He was treated for serious injuries. Tonight, a man is behind bars in Texas charged in a brazen and brutal attack of a bride-to-be out celebrating her bachelorette weekend. We must warn you, some of the images in this story are disturbing. Police arrested Trevon Woodards this weekend for the March 23rd assault on Canada Rinaldi. She was leaving a club in Dallas with her friends when she says the man punched her in the face at random, unprovoked. She was knocked unconscious and suffered a broken nose, 3 broken teeth, and needed stitches in her forehead.
It's just shocking. It's just hard to believe. It just feels like a lot of my experiences were taken away from me.
One of the bridesmaids was also attacked. Rinaldi says she's relieved by the arrest. The attack happened just 4 weeks before her wedding. Legendary actor Richard Chamberlain has died. The Emmy-nominated actor and 1960s heartthrob rocketed to fame on the NBC drama Dr. Kildare. In the 1980s, he starred in 2 popular miniseries, Shogun and The Thornbirds. His work in film included The Three Musketeers and Towering Inferno. Chamberlain was also a U.S. Army veteran, serving 16 months in Korea, where he earned the rank of sergeant. According to his publicist, Chamberlain died last night in Hawaii from complications following a stroke. He was 90 years old. The home of the Cardinals is about to go bananas. In just 5 days, the famed Savannah Bananas will take the field at Busch Stadium. The popular barnstorming team, known for its musical antics, will take on the Party Animals for 2 games on Friday and Saturday. Tickets, which were sold in a lottery, are sold out. We did find some seats on StubHub, where even nosebleed seats cost more than $100. And the Bananas warn fans in other cities have fallen victim to online ticket scams and urge you to only buy from reputable resale sites. And Gary has one final check of the weather.
Yeah, it'll be a cool start to the week, but quiet as you start off tomorrow morning. Looking ahead to Wednesday, our next weather impact alert day, Wednesday afternoon and evening. All types of severe weather. Follow along for updates. Anthony's going to have the latest. This is going to be something that we really, as we start to see more model data, is going to be important. That's our next weather impact alert day, and I think we have stronger storms. There's more on 5+. I did a long explainer. It's on there, and KSDK.com.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great week. Sports Plus is next.